Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The fire marshal is here, and I'm sure that you've all heard his remarks. Can we have at least 11 volunteers who will leave the building so that we can have this meeting?
The building can hold 200 people. They've been always, anytime they have to be in dedicated offices, which means in the office inspectors provided by people. You're gonna go upstairs into an office, I'm going here, downstairs, I don't know.
There's an office there. How many are in there?
He said that's full.
Oh, because if 11 people don't leave the building, then we can't have the meeting? Is that correct?
This room. The building, you have 15 minutes and the building gets shut down.
That's nice.
Somebody called me, I'm a resident.
This is the first time I've ever seen this happen in this building. And we've had more people in this room than are here right now.
So during my time, we have had issues when we've had large presentations. Mr. Weber is correct. He has had contact with us previously with the maximum occupancy in the building.
This is the particular night that we decided to enforce that rule.
The only night.
It's the,
The only night that I've ever seen.
it's the first time during
Never happened
my
since I've been on
tenure.
the board. I've been on the board 14 years.
Yep.
But he is the fire marshal. And the meeting is supposed to be scheduled for this building.
I move
That's
to
what's
adjourn
been
the
posted.
meeting.
We haven't even started it yet, actually. We haven't officially started.
We have to officially start the meeting.
Well, if nobody's going to leave, then we have to adjourn the meeting. Can't have the meeting.
Oh, no, not yet. Yeah.
Hot heating. Okay.
I believe 64, 65 plus 12 up there.
Yes.
Gotta be below 70. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Can they wait in the lobby?
No, I said that counts. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. What? 3 minutes. You need 2. Oh, speak.
Seven, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81. 6. I'm not going anywhere. Does anybody else step back in? So we don't.
So all we have to do is go to a different office or something.
Yep, can't be that one.
Why? Is that one over there?
That one's already over.
There you go. There you go.
Teresa, you can open. You said it's okay. So make sure there's nothing at all. We're good.
He's checking the hallway. He's checking the hallway.
Step back in.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you stand, please, to salute the flag in a moment of silence?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Scott, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Cavallari? Present. Mrs. Forbes? Present. Mrs. Gallagher?
Present.
Mrs. Irons?
Present.
Mr. McBride?
Present.
Ms. Monroe?
Present.
Mr. Young?
Present.
Not the student reps, correct?
Correct.
Dr. Butts?
Present.
Mr. DiOrio?
Present.
Dr. Wilson?
Here.
Ms. Harris Johnson?
Present.
I move to adjourn the meeting because I feel that the motion that is on this meeting is contrary to Robert's Rules of Order, and because the new board is to be sworn in on Monday, and this is 2 days before that as well. But my main conflict and the reason I add this motion is that Robert's Rules of Order states that actions cannot be rescinded or amended if they've been previously adopted when the case is in a nature of a contract and the other party has been informed of the vote. And as well, the contract was signed. So I'm going to motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second it. May I have a roll call? May I have a roll call?
Ms. Cavallari?
Nay.
Mrs. Forbes?
Nay.
Mrs. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mrs. Irons?
No.
Mr. McBride?
No.
Ms. Monroe?
No.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Dr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Harris Johnson?
No.
I have a quick question. Are we allowed to take photos in this room? If I didn't want to be
Sure, why
photo?
not? Yeah, because it's on.
Well, I know it's on.
being
I know
recorded.
that, but individual photos.
Individual.
We're public.
It's
can
the
do whatever they
sunshine law.
want.
You're allowed to take
It's like
photos. of a
paparazzi.
it's a public meeting.
Right.
I hope it isn't paparazzi.
I know,
I
but
would
it's.
feel threatened. I don't want to feel threatened at the meeting.
Oh, gee.
Okay, let's move on, please. First of all, let me just say this to everyone in this room, including the board and myself. We're all here for one reason and one reason only. And I hope that we can all do this in decency, order. There's no reason for anybody to get upset, clapping out unnecessarily, being loud. If you want to come to the podium and speak, feel free to do so. But let's do it like we all are, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you can do that, I don't have a problem with a certain amount of people coming to the board, to the podium and speaking. And those who do come to the podium, you have 3 minutes in order to speak. And since it's so many in the room, I'm only going to allow 10 people to speak at this time because it's too many.
You can't do that.
Do that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Every citizen deserves to be heard. They're all citizens. They're all employees of the district. They deserve to be heard.
Just let them all speak. Just let them all speak.
Okay, that's fine. This is a special, which is altogether different than a regular school board meeting.
This is still a public meeting under the sunshine law.
Excuse me. If you want to speak, you have an opportunity to come at the podium. I'm not going to, what if you have a yellow card?
I already filled it.
Okay, then we're not to that point right now. And I want it done in decency and order. Now,
Would that happen? No, I'm not gonna say that. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, wait.
You haven't been called.
you haven't been
Oh,
called.
I gotta get called. You gotta get called. Come on, let's do it in order.
Please be advised that those wishing to provide public comments will be called in the order in which they registered. Apprehensive of 3 minutes limit per speaker policy will be observed.
Does the board get a chance to talk first before the people do?
If you would like.
Well, I'd like to go down the history trail with this. Because some of these board members have been after Stephen for a while. So, some of you were after the superintendent. We came up with a PSBA, which is the the State Association evaluation, which you all approved, which we were all supposed to complete. 3 board members served on this committee and obtained the results. They were Tammy, Tanya, and myself. So the evaluation did get him out. It didn't get him out because he was proficient or higher in all of those categories that were on the contract. The board had a verbal agreement with Dr. Butts that if they were going to replace him or do anything with his contract, they would tell him to avert a public embarrassment. You all agreed. Dr. Butts is embarrassed by this erratic behavior. The board agreed that the contract would be voted on by the current elected board because we had worked with him the most, plus we wanted to keep Tanya Cavallari's opinion and Ed's. Was one of the 3 who helped with the results. We wanted their input. Then a few of you tried to change that vote to happen with the new board, and you failed at that because you thought you had the votes in your pocket. When that failed, we voted on the contract, and you all voted yes to renew with a 5-year contract. That was a unanimous vote by all of you. The president, after the meeting, signed and initialed the new contract. Some of us were never spoken to about rescinding the contract by the president. Guess who that is? This is not how a proper agenda is written, and if a fraction of you decided to do this, why wasn't a meeting called before so that we could go over it and discuss it before we were here voting on it? There was no discussion, there was no meeting. It's totally out of line. According to the school board policy, under section 20, title section 407 on page 2 of 2, the powers of the Board of School Directors are not vested in the individual board member. No such individual is authorized to act on behalf of the board to carry out any of the board's statutory authorized powers except for those stated in the law. I still claim this is an illegal meeting.
Does anyone else from the board like to speak?
Yes, I also second that claim, adding what I've already said, and this is why I'm actually not going to even approve this agenda. Because again, page 269, section 34 of Robert's Rules of Order, since there's nothing specific in our policy that discusses rescinding contracts, you have to revert back to Robert's Rules of Order for all boards. And that says, in quotes, actions that cannot be rescinded or amended. The motions to rescind or to amend something previously adopted are not in order under the following circumstances. C, when the case is in the nature of a contract and the other party has been informed of the vote which did occur.
Is there anyone else from the board that would like to speak at this time?
Yes, I would. As a resident of Collingdale since 1961 and a taxpayer at this school district, I would just like to tell you what I know about Stephen Butts for the past 8 years. I've been on the board for 8 years. I have watched this district change, and I really do think it's changed for the good. One really important change happened a few years ago. Academy Park High School, we put an addition onto that school. Now, the way that was funded was because Dr. Butts had found out how to apply for, along with our manager here, school construction bonds. And these construction bonds were of such a low interest rate that we, even after Dr. Butts leaves his 5-year contract, we will be still saving money, because this is what this man does. He wanted the school to be bigger because he could see young families moving into the area and they were staying. So he knew that the high school needed to be more room in the high school anyway, and that's what happened. And I know there's people who have only been here a few years and they don't realize that, but we're still paying off on those bonds. But it's such a low interest that it's going to end up saving us way into the future. Another thing that I have to say about Dr. Butts is that he seems to attend every event in every school. I don't know how he does it. I go to some of them, and I see him there, and then at times, and I certainly don't go to every one, but he would share with the board the different events, so we know that he attended them. He attends the sports, so we know that he really cares about the students. So he's saving us money. We got the taxpayers part there, and he really cares about our students, and he cares about the teachers, because they're the ones that are there with the students while they're having these different events that go on. And just last month, I asked Dr. Butts questions about finances, because I'm on the finance committee. I'm always asking questions about why we spend so much money for this, that, and the other thing. Well, it happened to be the question was about software. Well, we had different board members have been asking about our technology, like we have lousy technology. Well, we don't. And what I asked was, why were we spending all this money? And we're spending it for technology because this is what the kids need. Okay. And so he gave a report, and he tells about the laptops and the tablets, and about how our children, our students from kindergarten through high school are using these. So we're talking about money that's being saved that way, money that's being used good, and children, students that are learning up to date like everybody else. And we have really bad publicity for our school district. Our kids do pretty darn good. And I think that Dr. Butts is, to be congratulated, not to be humiliated. And that's one of the reasons why I voted for that contract. And I think that if you vote for a contract, it's a contract, and that's it.
Anyone else from the board would like to speak at this time?
I would like to speak, but I will hold my comments until after the public speaks.
The first person is it Lori?
Lance Bogash.
Oh, Mr. Bogash?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Where do you begin? Okay, I've known Dr. Butz since he came. All right, upstanding man. All right, for the kids, for the teachers, for the board, for everyone in the district that lives in the district, whether they attend charter schools, public schools, private schools, whatever kind of school. The man is dedicated to education. I can give you examples of our Tech Bridge program where Dr. Butz found the money, all right, to have 15 kids every year get a jump, all right, on college. There's visits to college, there's technology. The kids get a computer at the end of the year for participating. They have jobs at the school. And why not have our kids work on our schools, so they can see what our janitors do, our teachers do, what the board does when they come through. This is a hard day for me, all right, very hard. All right, I respect everyone on the board. I've talked to you before. I know basically everybody, all right, and I respect you for what you do, unpaid, all right, and it takes a lot of time, and I appreciate it. However, I think we are publicly humiliating Dr. Butz, all right, and I think, as the old expression goes, shame on you, all right. I again thank you for the opportunity to talk. My support goes to Dr. Butz, as always. All right, and I thank you for what you're doing for our school district. Thank you to the board for what you're doing. Thank you.
Ellen Calabrero.
Good evening. I do know you have big decisions ahead of you. I have had the pleasure of serving on the board. I think right now what you're doing is a disservice to this community. I think some of you have personal grudges. I think you need to put them aside and you need to think of this community. Eliminating Stephen Butz is probably the worst thing you could do for this community. He is a person that has always been there for the children, for the parents, for the teachers, and for this community. He has kept this community intact. He has helped this community. He goes above and beyond anything that he has been asked to do. He does more than any superintendent that I have seen from this district and other districts. I was honored to serve with him on this board. He has accomplished a lot in this community. And for you to sit here now and try to eliminate this, it's an injustice to this community. I do have a question. Am I allowed to ask questions, especially to the solicitor? Are they in their right to be able to even bring this up at this point? We have a contract signed. What happened in 15 days that justifies for us to even be sitting here right now?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get an answer for that? Am I going to get an answer for that? Is the community going to get an answer for that? And I don't want that to count as my 3 minutes.
Yes, answers don't count.
Okay.
There was some, go ahead. Solicitor.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't think, when you got through the question, it was really a legal question that you wanted to
The question is, a contract was voted. He signed a contract. They voted unanimously to offer him a contract. Are we able to eliminate that contract in this agenda right now, legally?
Yes.
I've given my legal opinion to the board, and they're proceeding with the meeting.
Okay. So my answer is, what happened in 15 days to bring us to where we're at right now? Can we get an answer for that?
I received calls. The majority of the board were concerned about that vote that was taken at the last meeting.
But then that should have been addressed at the meeting, not now after it's already been voted on.
This concern came after the meeting and the voting.
But you had him sign a contract. What was the evaluation? He had an evaluation. You approved the evaluation.
Ma'am, I'm not going to get into a debate with you.
Well, I'm
Okay.
asking a question that I really want an answer
I've answered
to.
your question.
But what are the specifics? What specifically can we, as a community here, that caused you to change your mind? Because I really believe this is personal. This is not as a whole for the community. So I would like some valid answers to the questions that I'm answering, unless Stephen objects to them.
Are you a community member?
I am a community member.
There was a side conversation indicating that you are a teacher. You live in Fallcroft?
I live in Fallcroft, 2055 Heather Road, Fallcroft. I work in the community. I work at the daycare center. So yes, I am a teacher.
Thank you.
Daycare. Not in the district. I work for the daycare center.
But you have to live in the district. Fallcroft is.
I happen to live in the district.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
All right. Okay.
I served on the school board. Yes, I did.
All right. Okay. Next person, please.
I'm sorry if your question wasn't answered. I'm sorry about
Thank you.
Michelle Felleroff. And unfortunately, I forgot to say, would you please state your name and address?
Michelle Federoff, 453 McDade Boulevard, Collingdale. I've written a statement because I cannot trust my emotions to just wing it. So I'm just going to read this statement. Not too long ago, Miss Harris Johnson told me that Dr. Butts is a wonderful man and this district is blessed to have him. I don't think that's changed. Our scores are improving. One of our schools was just recognized by the state for being most improved. We are fiscally and financially sound, and unlike many districts, we have avoided having to lay off staff. That's because of Dr. Butts. I have no doubts about Dr. Butts' competency. I believe there is absolutely no justification for rescinding this contract, and doing so.
Really? Oh, I'm timing.
Not paying attention. Excuse me, but you're not in control of this meeting.
You're out of order. You're out of order, sir. You're out of order.
Okay, I can shut the meeting down if you want.
You can't.
I absolutely can. There's more people in that room over there than are supposed to be. I'm being generous. So don't get off on my bad side, please. Okay?
Okay.
All right? Okay? I can shut it down. All right? That's all I need to say from now on. They need to pay attention. That's just rude to the residents and the employees.
Okay, you made your statement.
I don't want that to count against my 3 minutes. I have no doubts about Dr. Butts' competency. I believe that there is absolutely no justification for rescinding this contract and doing so in his abuse of your power. I do not believe that this action serves the best interest of the district or our students. I believe the board is acting recklessly. They are operating in a way that puts the district at risk. When I found out about this meeting, I contacted a board member who indicated that they were going to support the action. I asked this board member if the board realized that the district could be on the hook for a significant amount of money if they followed through with this action. I was told that they're not thinking about that they don't care about the money.
Oh, great. Wow. Okay.
I then asked if they were concerned about the effect this would have on staff, that there are people who will likely follow Dr. Butts out the door. I was told yes. They had heard threats of people leaving, but they feel those people probably have 1 foot out the door anyway, so they don't care about that either. By not honoring this contract, the board demonstrates they cannot be trusted. The perception will be that no agreement is safe, that no security for any person on staff, or any expectation that anyone can be treated fairly
will be treated fairly or ethically. Since the contract was approved 9-0, I'm curious about what promises were made to board members to get them to change their vote. The whole affair smells of backroom deals and compromised principles. It is especially distasteful for any member, and all due respect, Tanya, for any member that is leaving this board to change their vote. You will, in effect, be blowing up the district and walking away. The way this process was executed will cause serious speculation that Dr. Butz must have done something really bad for the board to rescind his contract.
You've got like 10 seconds, just
in
FYI.
such a malicious manner. You need to seriously consider the damage this will cause to his reputation and career. He has served this district honorably and does not deserve to be treated so egregiously. The district's reputation will also be tarnished, and I can't imagine that anyone will want to work in an environment that treats staff with so little regard. This is a shameful, duplicitous act that cannot be allowed. The board will do irreparable damage to its reputation, the district, and the communities we serve. Do not do this.
Thank you.
Tom Weber. Tom Weber. Would you please state your name and address?
So not only the fire marshal, I'm a resident that went to the school. It's Tom Weber, 1523 Bayard Avenue, Fallcroft. I have the same concerns, a 9-0 vote. What changed? You still didn't give the other lady an answer, so maybe what actually changed? Can I get the answer?
I've given my answer and I'm not repeating it.
You said you got a phone call. What did the phone call say?
I said what all I had to say. I'm not repeating it, so could you please go on with your statement?
Okay, so we can take it that it's not legitimate. That's the way I see it. So we're not worried about what it's going to cost me as a taxpayer or anybody else here that's a taxpayer, according to the last statement. Okay? His evaluation was done, Dr. Butz's evaluation was done on October 26th with all proficient. Everything was proficient. What changed? Still no answer. I work with the kids at the high school, actually 5th through 8th grade, as a supplemental. I help build the sets for the musicals that are put on in this district. Some of the best musicals around. I've been doing that for 15 years. This is my 15th year. I'm ashamed of what you guys are doing to this school district. Okay? I'm an alumni. I have 3 kids that have gone to this school, 2 of which have gone on to college and are successful. One of which did not go to college, but is very successful as a truck driver, supplying your food, driving everything that you need to survive every day, all because of Academy Park and Southeast Delco School District. I'm very much ashamed. The school board has supported all these children up to this point. Dr. Butz has supported the musical, the academics, the sports. We need a scoreboard. The school board, Dr. Butz found a way. Not just Dr. Butz, all of you. The musical has needed, extra equipment to perform shows that are not just a high school show. Dr. Butz and the school board has found a way. I don't understand where any of this is coming from at all. I'm sorry, like I said, I'm very ashamed of what you're trying to do here, and I really wish I could get a straight answer, and we could all get a straight answer on what changed in 15 days. I'm sorry you can't give us an honest answer, because you haven't given us an honest answer, in my opinion. Thank you.
Lisa Madugan. Lisa. McDougan. McDonough. Could you give your name and address, please?
My name is Lisa McDonough. I live at 349 Hawarden Road in Springfield. I'm a third grade teacher at Delcroft School, and I've been within the Southeast Delco School District for 17 years. Over the past 2 years, I've collaborated with Dr. Boots and my principal in regards.
Could you stop?
Sure.
1 minute, please.
Yep.
Oh, no, you say at every board meeting, you say any resident or staff.
Don, we're not disputing that. She said she didn't hear the address. That was the statement, okay? And I also put on there that because she is an employee of the district, she has the right to speak.
That's right.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Over the past 2 years, I've collaborated with Dr. Boots and my principal in regards to the Read 180 program. Dr. Boots made a bold decision to move the program down to a grade level, to third grade, because he believed strongly that this would help our children find success in the early educational years. He knew he would challenge the young children, and his challenge was correct. The third grade PSSA scores increased significantly because of his dedication, his collaboration, and coaching with me with this program and other Read 180 teachers in the district. Where other superintendents in other districts would pass off tedious tasks, he has done these himself that a typical superintendent would not choose to do because he wanted to make sure that that job was done right. It would be a disservice to the children to choose not to have him as our leader. It will affect many families, many staff members, and the future of our district, which is heading in the right direction because of Dr. Boots. I'm very heartbroken to hear these words, and I just want you to listen to my comment, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Nathaniel Robinson. State your name and address, please.
Nathaniel D. Robinson, principal of Academy Park High School, reside at 6 Camp David Road, Wilmington, Delaware. I've been a member of the Southeast Delco School District since 2007. I believe Dr. Butts joined right around that time as well. After 2 fairly successful years at the Delcroft School, I was transferred to Darby Township. I cannot say that I was necessarily happy about the transition, but Dr. Butts and the rest of the administrative team saw something in me that they realized that I needed some additional challenges and also an opportunity to expand my horizons and so forth at a different location. So I thank Dr. Butts for recognizing that and also providing me that opportunity to shift over to Darby Township. And in that, I recall a conversation Dr. Butts and I had. As I mentioned earlier, I was not 100% happy about the transition, but I understood the purpose and the opportunity for growth. But I also said to Dr. Butts, hey, sometime down the road, I would like to have the opportunity to be administrator at the high school. That opportunity did come around. Nothing was promised. It was more or less you would be considered as a candidate as an assistant principal for Academy Park High School. And I thank Dr. Butts for that opportunity as well. 3 years ago, I became principal of Academy Park High School. And I certainly approached the situation that I was an underdog going into the position. Through the interview process, I felt like I was getting support from Dr. Butts in regards to being seriously considered as a candidate for the principal, to be principal of Academy Park High School. Now in my 3rd year, I'd just like to say thank you, Dr. Butts, for your support, especially when many people looked at me as an underdog, could not get the job done. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. Anything that we've needed at the high school, well, not anything, as long as it made sense, and financial sense, and it had good merit behind it, Dr. Butts has always heard me out. He's a huge advocate for reading literacy, and that's why we have our Read 180 program. Hey, Dr. Butts, it would be awesome to have an interventionist for math as well. Next thing you know, we have a Math 180 program. Hey, Dr. Butts, I don't have an interventionist for biology, for science. I want to make sure I have support for our students to grow in all of the tested areas for the Keystones. That happened as well. The building schedule. We wanted to make some changes, support for that, as long as it made sense. And also changes for PLCs. So there's a lot of positive that's come from the leadership of Dr. Butts. And Dr. Butts, thank you so much for believing in me, having the confidence in me and my staff at Academy Park High School. We will continue to push and do our best and make you proud as our superintendent of Southeast Delco School District. Thank you very much.
Mr. Robert Kaufman.
I was waiting for her. Good evening.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you for letting me speak. First, let me apologize for my outburst. That was very unprofessional of me. I am a resident of the school district at 224 Sharon Avenue, Collingsville. I'm also an employee. The issue I have with this right now is without any credible evidence of a reason for termination, to me, this is viewed as uncalled for. And everything that is done has a line that you should not cross. Right now, you have come up to that line and started to walk over it and have put doubt in my mind in the trustworthiness and the competency of this entire board. If you actually cross this line and rescind his approval, you will have lost any trust I have in this board and any confidence that I have that any of you are capable of serving this district in a proper or professional way. Thank you.
Stephen Hatch. And while he's coming to the podium, may I just make a statement that we're not here to terminate his employment tonight. No. Mr. Stephen Hatch, could you please speak?
What does rescind the contract mean then? If you're not terminating him, why would you rescind his contract?
He's employed under the old contract until June 31, and we have time enough then.
Well, everybody's covered just about everything there is to cover, as far as I can tell. As long as I've known this man, everybody's covered everything that should be covered up to now, and as long as I've known this man, it's been first, last, and always the children, which is what you're all here for, what we're all here for. When I think about a vote, I think about giving your word. Your word is your bond. If you people can't stand by your word, then you're going to have a lot of uproar in this district. And it's taken a long time to get this district to the point that it's at. It's not been fun and games for 20 years around here. You should think about that and take it into consideration. As long as this man's been running this school district, we've been in good shape and improving the whole time.
Patrick McGowan.
Good evening. Like everybody else said, I'm going to state my opinion. First and foremost, I'm going to take a walk down memory lane. I've been an alumni of the school district, been in the school district since 1985. I've known Mr. Donato, Dr. McKnight, Miss Lauer, Dr. Bennett, and also Dr. Butts. And I can unequivocally tell you, he is by far, from 1985 till now, the best superintendent that this school district has had. His day does not end at 5 o'clock. I see him at football games, at musicals, at National Honor Society inductions. He knows my children's names. I almost wager a guess how many school board members actually come to these events. I am there. I know there are many of you that do show up before you serve as school board members. But I also know that there are many of you that, even with free tickets to the musical, do not show up. Free tickets to our musicals, and you do not show up. And an email does go out to the district about the free tickets. You know, my children wanted to come here tonight. They wanted to speak on Dr. Butz's behalf. They are in high school. I have a senior and I have a freshman who know Dr. Butz personally. And I told them no, because I do not want them to see the shame that this school board is potentially about to do. You are supposed to set the example for our children. As Mr. Weber said, or another person said, your word is your bond. Okay, that's what we teach our children. You do not go against your bond. You go to a polling place, you place your vote for a president. You don't get a chance to go back and go, oh, you know what? we're going to go in and redo it. Not unless there's something seriously illegal going on that causes that. Look at our current political climate. Okay? But you are tinkering, like they said, at that line. Okay? Look into your hearts. If there are children here, what would you do to your children? What would you say to your children? Do you think that this is right? Honestly, in your heart? Because I could tell you, it's not. He has been an avid supporter of every area of this district. And I'm going to tell you, you guys are, I just wish that there was the news media here so they could actually put a camera in your face and you could actually.
They're here.
They're here.
They're here.
The news media is here? Good. Because I'm sorry. You know what? If I ask my child a question and I get, a half answer, I always tell them, no, give me the full answer. I need the full facts. You are not giving taxpayers the full facts. Oh, and by the way, I apologize. My address is 1305 Scott Avenue in Sharon Hill. But you guys are not giving us a full answer. You're giving us half answers. Why?
That's because some of us don't have full answers.
And I believe that.
So it's not the whole board.
Yes,
No.
thank you.
And I definitely believe that. But I definitely think if you guys need to look in your hearts and truly listen to what your constituents are telling you. We voted you guys in, okay? You need to listen to what we are trying to tell you, okay? Because if these are personal acts that you're grinding, that could be settled somewhere else, okay? This district needs Dr. Butts.
Okay, your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken Burns.
Who was it?
Ken Burns.
Oh, wait. He's in the hall. Is he in the hall? I think he's on the front. He's coming.
Would you please state your name and address? And you have 3 minutes.
Ken Burns, 216 Marshall Avenue, Collindale, PA. Pretty sure every one of my kids have gone through school. Really not sure who brought all this together, why it's all brought together. Seems pretty ridiculous. The contract's been signed. Plenty of time to review it prior to it. And I think you're really wasting a lot of people's time tonight in support for what was signed. We took trust as a taxpayer. We all took trust that you guys all did your due diligence and to make sure that everything was done proper. You anonymously voted on something, and we should stick by what we voted. I don't ever remember going to the school, at Collindale High, but I never remember going there and being able to take a test that was given to me and changing the answers and getting an A. All right, so you guys dealt it, deal with it, and in 5 years, you get to have another say. Thank you.
Kelly Burns.
You gotta say it again.
Kelly Burns. Would you please state your name and address?
Sure. I'm Kelly Burns. I'm from 216 Marshall Avenue. Sorry. I don't even know where to begin. This is baffling. Tanya, I am sitting right out there, and the whole entire time you have not paid attention. You've been on your cell phone, in your pocketbook.
That's not part of the...
It is, because you should care about what we're saying. That's the whole point of being here, isn't it? You signed a contract, gave a man a job for 5 more years, and now are saying you don't want to, anonymously, but you can't give anybody answers. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not right. Imagine if it was you, any of you. You signed a contract, you were given a job. 5 years, that's amazing. And then all of a sudden, what did they say, 15 days? You decide, never mind, we're not giving it to you. It's wrong. It's not right. And everyone should know about this. This should be public. It's not right. We're the ones that are paying our taxes. We're the ones that should matter. It's all of their children. It's not right. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Donna Spaden. Could you please state your name and address?
My name is Donna Spadea. I live at
I'm sorry,
1017.
pronounced it wrong.
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, I did pronounce your last name incorrect.
Oh, it's okay. 1017 Meath Street, Collingdale. I am a council person in Collingdale. I am also the president of Collingdale Athletic Club. And my children did not go to any schools in Collingdale or in this district. They went to different schools. But I know the kids in this district. I listen to them. They talk. They know him. They don't know you. They have no idea who you guys are because they don't see you. They see him. I just want to know one thing. Have any one of you people looked in the mirror and said to yourself, am I doing the right thing? Is this what we should do as a whole for our kids? Or is it because you yourself can't face the fact that somebody can do a good job? It's a disgrace. You should be ashamed of yourselves as adults, as members of this community, as members of a board of school. It's a disgrace. These kids are going to go to school tomorrow and hear from everyone in this room, and they already know that you promised someone something and you're taking it away. How would a child feel? You tell him he can go to school, and then you tell him he can't. You tell a child he can learn, but you take his books away. That's what you're doing. You're cheating the district. You're cheating the children. Stop and think about that. You should be ashamed that tonight is even happening. It's a disgrace. I am ashamed to be here to stick up for someone that I don't even know. Just by listening to children, I'm here for no other reason. I don't understand how you think this is just.
I don't think it's just.
I'm not looking, I'm sorry. I'm focused on you, but it's for everyone. And no one else here is looking at me, which is a disgrace because when someone speaks, as a child, you were told to look at who is speaking. If you can't look at me, you must be hiding something. That's how I feel. The kids love this man. The kids know this man. He's done a wonderful thing for the kids in this community. Just sitting here tonight listening to everyone speak so highly, I don't know how you could question his integrity. Unless he's murdered someone in the past 2 weeks, had an affair that was a bad affair.
Can you wrap up? You're just about out of time. Sorry.
Okay, my last statement is you're a disgrace. You should be ashamed of yourselves. My vote as a taxpayer is you don't change a thing.
Thank you.
Keep him here.
Kathleen Monroe. Monroe. Oh, it's a Monroe. Looks like a you.
My arm. Good evening. My name is Kathleen Monroe, 1004 North Street, Collingdale. I have been a resident of Collingdale for 50 years, and I have paid taxes into Southeast Delco for 50 years. I have a couple questions, but I don't think you're going to answer them for me, but I'm going to ask them anyway. Do you have someone in the wings to replace Mr. Butts? Is someone waiting for this job? Someone promised this job?
No.
So you have no one that you have any idea who's going to replace him?
And it's not about replacing.
What is it about?
It's rescinding this vote on the contract. That's all.
But all right, here's my second question. Why? He's not an underachiever. He's not an underperformer. Why would you do this? I don't understand it. What are you going to get better? You're not going to get anything better. If it isn't broke, why are you trying to fix it? That's all I have to say, but I thank you for this opportunity to be here tonight and ask these questions, even though when I was sitting back there, I knew I wouldn't get answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gerard Gunther.
How are you? Thank you for taking my question. I'm a businessman in the community, and I know as a businessman that if I signed a contract with someone and I decide to go back on my contract, that it will open me up to potential legal suit. And I just want to ask the board, how much, a dollar value amount, how much will it cost the taxpayers if that is to happen? How much?
Thousands.
How many thousands?
A lot.
How many? How many? You guys are like you educators. You guys know math. How much? I serve the people of Folcroft. I serve the Boys Club. I represent this district in the state. And if I treated my constituents the way that you guys have treated them tonight, I wouldn't have a job.
I would say it could cost us at least $1.5 million.
Whose pockets is it coming out of? Yours?
Harry Young.
Hi, my name is Harry Young. I'm at 213 School Lane, Springfield. I'm Director of Facilities for the school district. I'd like to start off by saying that Dr. Butts can be a colossal pain. His favorite statement is, "What's your plan?" Initially, I took this as meaning he didn't want to be bothered. But once I got past my own ego, I realized that Dr. Butts was empowering me and his staff to make decisions, to seek out solutions, and to challenge and test our own sensibility. That kind of faith and trust in your staff, in my humble opinion, is an excellent leadership quality. It takes a person with great skill, knowledge, and wisdom to be able to navigate through this financially challenged ocean in which we are immersed. And again, in my humble opinion, he's your guy.
Cherie Nurse. State your name and address, please.
My name's Sherry Nurse, and I live at 915 Elmwood Avenue, Sharon Hill. Let's just take personalities out of this. As a taxpayer, what is being done tonight is totally disgusting. You all voted 2 weeks ago 9-0. If you had any reservations, they should have been brought up 2 weeks ago. You don't give somebody a contract and then 2 weeks later say, "Oh, sorry, you're gone." And if we're not here to fire him or not renew his contract, then why are we even here? Why was this not discussed 2 weeks ago? And you sit here and say, "Oh, well, we're not concerned about how much it's going to cost." You know what? As a taxpayer, I am. It comes out of my pocketbook. And my taxes are getting too high as it is. So you need to be concerned about that. And you know, all the employees of Southeast Delco better watch their backs. Because how secure are their jobs? How secure is any of your word that you vote on and tell us as a public, this is what we're going to do? Oh, 2 weeks later, nope, we're going to rescind that vote. There is no confidence in you. You are shaming this man. If you had a problem, it should have been discussed behind closed doors 2 weeks ago before you made that vote. How would you feel if you were sitting here being put through this? Mm-hmm. And legally, he's going to come back and he's going to sue us. And you know what? He has every right to do it. Because you guys voted and said, yes, we have the confidence in you and we're going forward. So unless as somebody said, unless he murdered somebody, he robbed something, he did some kind of illegal act, we should not even be here. And you should be ashamed of yourselves for bringing this up. You know what? Can we rescind your votes? Rescind you? And I have one question. If we're not here to do away with Stephen Butts, Dr. Butts, excuse me, why are we here? Why are we here? To rescind his contract? That sounds like you want to get rid of him to me, because he hasn't done anything in 2 weeks to say otherwise. So can you tell me why?
I've made a statement. I'm not.
Of course, you haven't told me anything as a taxpayer, but yet we expect you to carry out this district's business. You know what? I really hope that the vote comes again and you guys are all gone. Not all of you. I know some of you.
Thank you.
Some of you
Thank
need
you.
to be gone.
Time is up, but thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. I just want to make a statement on a repeated comment from a lot of you this evening. No one, and I'll repeat, no one in this district that is an employee job has to be concerned about anything. We're not. We're not, or the board is not. That is not the intention.
Why don't you tell?
Tonight.
Then why don't you
That
tell
is-
the board?
Excuse me, I'm not finished speaking.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
There, we have a lot of employees in here, and none of you have to worry about your jobs. None of you. That's from the administrators on down.
Stephen has to worry about his. He's an employee of the district. And Sharon, why don't you tell the audience what you were told on the phone about maybe we need to look at some feelers, put some feelers out?
Yes, I was told by the board president that maybe we should put some feelers out to talk to other superintendents. Quote. I don't know. I wasn't giving, I was only given a minimum amount of detail. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Stephen, do you have something to say?
First, I want to thank everybody who has shown up. I greatly appreciate the words of encouragement, the support, deeply appreciate all that everybody here has done for me. I was deeply saddened when I was handed a letter late Monday morning directing me to communicate to the public about this special meeting. Obviously, I didn't support this action. A contract was approved by a 9-0 vote. Contract as agreed upon was signed by the board president, witnessed by the secretary pro temp at the time, because Ms. Vanessa Scott was not in the district, attested to by Ms. Vanessa Scott, and I also signed it. It is a fully executed contract. Several district solicitors in neighboring counties who I am familiar with have the same legal opinion.
Yes.
I have sought legal advice. However, sorry, I'm reading the wrong script. Obviously, I have clearly communicated my position on this action through a letter sent to Mr. DiOrio earlier today, read to the board early today, which indicated in contract law has nothing to do with school law. School law has to obey contract law in the state of Pennsylvania. Contract law, when a contract is signed by an employee, and yes, I am your employee, you are my supervisors. It says that in the job description. There is absolutely no way that any of you can feel pressured to take a 9-0 vote from an employee. As was said, you had ample time through emails that I have documented, through communications and meetings to review the contract, to tweak the contract, to give words of wisdom on the contract. The day of the meeting, we even had a conversation on that. The 9-0 vote was taken. Nothing has happened since that time to change my work in the district, what I do day in, day out. I show up at 6:30. I leave when I get home. Sometimes, like tonight, it will be 11, 12, 1 o'clock. That's just the reality. I am fully committed to the Southeast Delco School District. I'm fully committed to continuing to fulfill my responsibilities in my current term. I am fully committed to fulfill my responsibilities in this new contract. The word termination has been raised several times. School code clearly defines, provides only one mechanism for removal of a duly elected superintendent, which is indeed what has happened. You elected me as the superintendent to take effect July 1, 2018. This is from a decision by Burns versus Board of Directors of Uniontown Area School District back around 2000. It is in their conclusion, which has been somewhat discounted by members around the table here. Finally, the school code provides only one mechanism for the removal of a duly elected superintendent. That mechanism is limited to a due process hearing with notice and removal for only one of 4 stated reasons. There is no dispute that the board in this case, and that's referring to Uniontown, did not follow that statutory scheme to remove the superintendent by voting to rescind both the election and the contract without any authority after he was duly elected to a new term and had executed a new contract. There is no authority in the school code for the action of resignation by the reorganization of that board, and it has been in other decisions by the board, another board later on after the vote has already been taken. The vote was taken. It is a contract. It is binding contract. As I indicated, I did seek legal advice. Legal advice did follow up in writing this afternoon. The board is aware of that. There are potential for damages just from having this interesting meeting. The reality is I want to continue as the superintendent. A rescinding vote in effect, as has been decided by, I have to remember the court, the Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania. I was elected. The only mechanism with the contract signed is to go through a termination process. This is not a termination process, as has been said by several people around the table. If it's not a termination process, what is it? I have many more items I would love to say, but for now, this is all that I'm comfortable sharing. I do deeply thank the support, and God bless you.
We're going to take a pause until the superintendent returns. And now we're going to take a motion. I would like to start with this side of the room first for the voting.
You have to approve the agenda.
I thought I approved. We already did that.
No, didn't do that yet.
May a motion to approve the agenda? So move. And may I have a roll call?
No.
Second.
She second.
I made a motion to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need a second, please.
Second.
She asked for roll call. A roll call on approving the agenda?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Roll call on approving the agenda. That's what we're doing?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Because some of us might not want to approve it.
And you're instructing me to start that?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
No.
Ms. Monroe?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Mrs. Irons?
Yeah.
Mrs. Gallagher?
No.
Mrs. Forbes?
I'm approving the agenda.
Approve the agenda.
Yes.
Ms. Cavalieri? Dr. Wilson?
No.
Ms. Harris Johnson?
Yes.
I would like to move to adjourn the meeting because the announced intended motion is contrary to Robert's Rules of Order, and because a new board is
Just
to
a
be
minute.
sworn in Monday. No, I'm not stopping. The board lacks both the legal and moral authority to take actions that do not need to be taken before Monday.
Second.
And the motion
Second.
is,
Oh, you said-
okay. Can I have a vote on the motion?
To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
The motion to adjourn.
We never got the results of the first motion.
The motion to accept the
To
agenda.
accept the agenda.
The motion to accept the agenda passed.
So now there's a motion to,
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
so now we got the, if it's a
Vote.
second, now we got to vote.
We got to vote.
May I have a second?
Sharon seconded.
Sharon seconded.
All in favor?
Roll call.
All in favor?
No.
Roll call.
No, it was
Roll call.
Roll call.
May I have a
This
roll
is
call
for the
on the
motion to
adjournment of the meeting?
roll call.
Roll call, please.
You went that way, that's what Mr. Young,
Yes.
Ms. Monroe,
No.
Mr. McBride,
No.
Mrs. Irons. No. Mrs. Gallagher,
Better believe it.
Yes.
Mrs. Forbes.
No.
Ms. Cavalieri. No. Dr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Harris Johnson.
No.
The motion fails.
Because I'm proud of my yes vote.
He's afraid of. You can't hear me in the back.
I'm going to read the motion of what was voted on.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Put your mic on.
I remove to rescind the approval by the board at the regular board meeting on November 16, 2017, to appoint Dr. Stephen D. Butz as District Superintendent to serve a term commencing July 1, 2018 and ending June 30, 2023, pursuant to the terms and conditions of the employment contract.
So moved.
Second.
Point of order. I'd like to say this motion is out of order and cannot be made under Robert's Rules of Order, Section 34.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
It's not a roll call. If it's a violation of Robert Rules of
Point of
Order,
order.
the solicitor's got to
order.
call it. It's not a vote.
I gave my opinion to the board in executive session.
Why don't you give it to the public?
Can you say it in public, please?
Tell us what the man did wrong. Tell us what the man did wrong.
Sure, that's not something.
Can you respond to my point of order in public, please? Thank you.
Point of order.
Yes, thank you.
Be honest.
I said originally, folks, that I gave my opinion to the board, and as a result of that, so far the board is proceeding, and I'm not changing my opinion.
That means we're not following Robert's Rules of Order.
So we're not following Robert's Rules of Order then?
May I have the roll call vote, please?
For what?
What are we voting on?
What I just,
Robert's Rules?
the statement that I just gave.
The human resources.
The human resources statement.
Oh.
Is my point of order going to be directed and ruled on in public? Thank you.
It was.
It was.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't an executive session, but I just want you to state what you said in executive session so the public understands.
Yes, I told the board that the meeting should continue, would continue as indicated. I thought I said that earlier, Dr. Wilson. No, someone had asked me, I think one of the speakers had asked me whether or not, and I said I gave my opinion to the board, and the meeting will continue. Well, that's what I'm saying now, sir.
The opinion is that it's a legal meeting. That's his opinion, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor.
Solicitor said it's a legal meeting. That's his opinion.
Thank you for the clarification there.
Yeah, it's up next month.
Please roll call vote. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Young?
My vote is to keep Dr. Butz as superintendent, as always.
What is that, a yes or a no?
Yes? Is it
Is it yes or a no?
Of course it's a yes.
Or no.
To keep Dr. Butz.
Oh, he said yes. Let's keep going.
Keep Dr. Butz.
No.
Okay.
That's not-
That means no
Keep
to
Dr.
the
Butz.
That's not
motion.
what it says.
The motion.
You just voted.
You have to
motion
do
is to
yes or no on the motion.
No on the motion.
Ms. Monroe?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Mrs. Irons?
Yes.
Mrs. Gallagher?
No, because I voted on a contract and contracts should be done. They just shouldn't be thrown away because somebody couldn't make a decision after they made a decision.
Thank you.
Mrs. Forbes?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Ms. Cavallari?
Yes.
You were on the committee, for God's sakes.
Dr. Wilson?
Hey.
No, I am disgusted and I am embarrassed just as all you are.
Please read that into the record.
Ms. Harris Johnson?
Yes.
The motion passed.
I need to make a comment before we adjourn because we haven't officially adjourned. I want to publicly, I want to publicly serve notice of my intention to move to rescind the motion to rescind at the next regularly scheduled meeting of the board on December 21st, 2018, or 2017, this coming month. Thank you. That serves as the public.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
There's an item that Vanessa has.
So moved.
Into the record.
Second.
Read into the record.
The motion has been moved in second at this point.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.